Hello everyone, Rukhsi from Creatifecundity Incorporated is here with episode 9 of the Social Change Creatively for Justice video series. In this episode, we are going to dig up the roots of racism and religious discrimination in our society for complete removal. Throughout Western society, we have found enmity towards those of minority races and religions, Native Americans and indigenous groups and their spiritual and shamanism beliefs, African and Caribbean Americans and their gospel, Christian, Islamic, and animist beliefs, Asian Americans and their Buddhist and Shinto beliefs, Latino and Hispanic Americans and their saint reverence and Christian worship beliefs, South Asian Americans and their Hindu, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, and Islamic beliefs, and Middle Eastern and Semitic people of Jewish and Islamic faiths. These minority racial and religious groups have been discriminated against and relegated to the wayside because of the prevalence and domination of European Americans and their Judeo-Christian religion at the top of the hierarchy in Western society. All minority racial and religious groups are relegated to the bottom and forgotten, or are relegated to the bottom, neglected, and dismissed as fraudulent or farcical racial groups and beliefs. We as a human society are hypocritical though, because we live on an earth of diverse colors and physical and chemical properties. We live among leafy green grasses and trees that are now turning color, as you can see with the crisp marigold yellow leaves on the trees and on the ground. The leaves then turn further into crunchy, tan, and musty brown colors. If these trees can coexist side by side, then we as humans cannot. We have a lot to learn by reflecting on our environment and its connectivity and synergy that I have explained in previous videos on this channel. Why do we discriminate against darker racial skin tones and physical features? In many ways, we are perpetuating a Hitlerian society by solely broadcasting and publicizing people with white European American skin tones and physical traits, along with Judeo-Christian religious beliefs. People have given different explanations of racism and religious discrimination. Specifically on racism, they have provided physical, economic, and even religious reasons for a higher valuation of lighter skin tones and physical characteristics compared with darker ones. However, in this video, I am going to introduce a new psychological explanation for racial and religious discrimination in our society. This explanation shows that lighter skin tones and features are viewed as visible, clear, prominent, and decipherable. However, those with darker skin tones, features, and traits are viewed as unclear, indistinct, unfathomable, and inscrutable. Society fears those of us with darker skin tone and characteristics because they do not know or understand them and us. Similarly, with foreign-sounding names, people cast them aside or treat them with prejudice because they are not knowable or understandable in their white European American hierarchy of nomenclature and labels. Similarly, with religious beliefs, our predominant Judeo-Christian religion has taken a stronghold at the expense of other beliefs, so that we only recognize holidays of mainstream religion, but not minority religions, because people do not have an awareness of those minority religions and how their beliefs overlap with the predominant Judeo-Christian perspective. For example, the spirits of shamanism and animism in Native American and African cultures are similar to the Judeo-Christian and Islamic concept of the soul, and how the soul is not only found within human beings, but also in the natural world around us. Even more, minority religions have revered personalities such as prophets and messengers that are likened to Moses and Christ from the Judeo-Christian religion. For example, Buddha in Buddhism, Muhammad in Islam, and Zoroaster in Zoroastrianism were all endowed with communicating religious and spiritual belief on navigating our impermanent and permanent reality. When we consider that we could have been born as an individual of another race and also have changing skin tones in response to the natural environment around us, and that we have a choice to embrace any religion or religions and not simply the one we grew up with, we realize the oneness in our world. We see ourselves in all racial and religious groups, and we see all racial and religious beings in ourselves. That is when we relegate racial and religious discrimination and enmity to the refuse of our earth, to be recycled into racial and religious reverence and quality. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing to this channel. I leave you with race and religious discrimination is abomination and an aggravation. Engage in racial and religious diversity.